electronic media through the law administration in this town. This is not an issue that will come as a surprise to the Windsor Star.
You haven't asked for any meeting?
I'm not. I wasn't handing out a copy. I'm sorry.
So you're not going to provide a copy of
I can provide you with a copy. I didn't have it prepared.
Okay.
Are you hearing from the voters that, oh, well, the Windsor Star says this, or the Windsor Star says that? Is that why you're having a concern about, is it reflecting on the people that you're talking to, I guess?
Absolutely. This very morning, I got in the elevator in my parking garage and made some comment about Rick's campaign. And the response was, I don't think he can beat the Windsor Star. You know, the Windsor Star is constantly mentioned by voters, by people who know what's going on. They complain about the bias of the Windsor Star. Yes, we get that on an hourly basis.
Don't losing candidates always complain about bias? I mean, that's what's going on in Toronto and Ottawa, every municipal campaign all over Ontario. If somebody's behind, they always claim bias.
Well, I think the facts speak for themselves, Chris, and you can point to me to the people who have in your paper who have shown balance over the course of this campaign or over the last 7 years. I look forward to that, and that's certainly what we're going to be putting in front of the press council. That certainly is our view, and it's the view of a great many people in this city, that the Windsor Star does not provide balanced coverage. And it's editorial, and I'm speaking specifically, let me be clear, I'm speaking specifically about the editorialists and the columnists. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm glad you brought up that, because I didn't really hear any. I missed the first part, but mainly it was just allegations and an opinion of bias. Stuff that, I don't know, if you're going to be required to prove this, and I don't see how you could prove that about some sort of systemic bias. Or I didn't hear any facts.
Well, I look forward to your argument. I think if you look at Saturday's paper, it would be an excellent example. And in fact, your column would be an excellent example. In fact, one of the things I read in your column was about how Rick had no response when prodded by reporters about waste that he would cut at City Hall. And yet, I think if you look at the tape, you'll see that he quite clearly said in both his speech and in response to that question that the very first thing he would cut would be the millions of dollars spent on out-of-town lawyers and consultants. Did not make it into your column. Your column spoke. He had nothing to answer after being prodded. So, I mean, that's just, you asked for an example. There's one that comes off the top of my head. I'm not here to cite chapter and verse. I'm not doing the legal brief. I'm here to announce that we are making a complaint on the basis of what we have seen, and that we will be writing to the owners of the Star as well to put this complaint. That's what I'm announcing.
Your complaints seem to revolve around the relationship between Norma Coleman and John Coleman.
Yes, it seems to be like a direct, what I would call a conflict of interest, and I think what journalists would call a conflict of interest is the same situation.
Rick Limoges is a former Liberal MP. Norma Coleman is a former confidential Liberal executive assistant to former Liberal premier. Is it this just, I don't know, intra-Liberal squabbling?
What Ms. Coleman's particular politics are at this point in terms of provincial or national politics, I'm really not aware. Nor do I think that partisan politics, in terms of party politics at a federal or provincial level, really have anything to bear on a municipal campaign. We're talking about the editor's wife. We're saying the editor's wife will lose her job if this.
Norma Coleman is not related to the editor. You might want to get your titles correct.
Well, I had the title correct when the part that you missed. You might.
No. I wrote that part down. She is for a mayor who employs the editor's wife. The editor's wife is a dental hygienist. You might attempt to get here on time for the next one. I did refer to him. The editor's wife is a dental hygienist. Okay, so who are you talking about?
I referred to him as the editorial page editor, and then thereafter said an editor. And yes, you can take a look at the script.
If I could ask, is it that the conflict lies with Mr. Coleman and the senior management at the Star?
Yes.
So, and you said that it goes beyond just the opinion writing, but also to the reporting.
We've been told that. I'm not here to make that complaint.
I'm just wondering what you think the actual kind, I mean, are you saying that
I think
directing reporters or columnists what to write, or what is the...
I think senior management should remove Mr. Coleman out of any coverage of any involvement whatsoever with municipal politics.
Okay, hold on.
I think he should have been any number of things. Let him do the parliamentary press feed, any number of places.
His duties have been changed for the election. I don't report to him for this. My stuff goes to Marty Benetel during the election. We were told that weeks ago.
Well, it's certainly, and then he will come back as your boss after the election, and he's been your boss for the last several years.
He's worked for the Star for 30 years. Why should he have to leave because somebody's running against an incumbent mayor? That has nothing to do with him.
Well, I guess you know what? Why doesn't the Windsor Star put out, you know, when I read Gordon Henderson's columns when he would write about Alan Halberstadt, he would never fail to mention that this was his old canoeing buddy. He would always make that clear. At the very least, the Windsor Star owes it to the people of the city of Windsor to be clear that the editorial page editor's wife is the chief of staff to the mayor. And by the way, we say this, and this is why we support the mayor. But they don't do that. They have never made it public. It's been 7 years. So why doesn't the Windsor Star do that?
But this is a small city. Everybody's related to somebody somehow. When I write this column tomorrow, am I supposed to say, Bruck Easton, with whom I used to have beers at the press club in the late 80s, I mean, everybody's got connections like that. And we haven't hidden that.
Well, if that's your justification, that's fine. But it's certainly clear to me that there are large numbers of people in this city who hold the Star in high regard and who do not know about this relationship and who think what they read in the Windsor Star is gospel and don't realize that what's there. Now, and I think, quite frankly, we have seen it when we tell people, when we say, oh, did you know? The look on their face it tells it all. They go, you're kidding. I did not know that. They think it's substantive. Most people I talk to think it's important. And so that's why we think it's important that the city knows. And I guess what I would say to the Windsor Star is I think the Windsor Star should be public about it. If they're, at the very least, they should be public about it.
Do you feel that Rick Limoges is trailing in this campaign because of that?
I don't know whether Rick Limoges is trailing in this campaign. What I will say is that I think the coverage has been very one-sided. I will take the coverage we got on Saturday for the economic statement. An economic statement that I will say was praised by some other people that I've talked to who understand municipal politics and what needs to be done. The Windsor Star's coverage and Mr. Vanderdolen's coverage and Graston were negative, quite negative.